Well, good morning, everyone. We're excited to have you here for our July meeting of the Blue Ribbon Commission. We're going to go ahead and get started today with our co-chairs, Ann Faircloth and Dr. Don Martin. I'll turn it on over to you. Ann, Don?
I am happy to get us started. I do want to be cognizant of the fact that this is a somewhat complicated, well, for me, the farmer, a somewhat complicated way to start the meeting. So I would be happy to give it a minute or two more if there are more folks coming in. But Friday Institute folks, you feel like we've got a good quorum here? You'll continue to admit folks as they show up?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. Well, in the interest of time, I will start us off, but I it's as I said, it's hard to tell who's here and who's not here, but I'm just grateful to everyone who is here. In just a minute, Don will go over the specifics for today, including outlining in greater detail our recommendations draft document, as well as framing the guiding questions that were included in your packet. I just wanted to take a minute today, first and foremost, to offer gratitude to y'all for being here and putting in the time and energy to do this important work. I know it seemed like a big ask this winter. I bet it feels even more so now, but I am truly excited that our meetings and conversations so far have led to the actions and implementation strategies we are going to discuss today. As I've said before, but I believe it bears repeating, this is a unique moment for public education in North Carolina. We are a broad and diverse group of folks who care deeply about the issues and have been jointly selected by both our governor and our Senate and House leaders. What we say today and going forward matters, and it can have real and lasting impact. Therefore, I encourage you all to continue to refine and hone today to make our words as clear and concise as possible. There are so many areas where I know I myself am tempted to elaborate or add. Please resist that temptation. Clear, simple, precise language will have the most impact and is the most likely to be acted on. We'll stay away from the acronyms. We'll try to stay away from the fuzzy wuzzy speak. Two or three, dare I dream, one clear sentence. That's hard to ignore. Before we begin, I do want to reiterate, I said it at the beginning, I am a farmer from Sampson County. I will not pretend to have the depth or the breadth of experience in education that most of y'all have. I joined this commission because I was excited about the work a group of diverse leaders with no agenda other than to improve education for North Carolina's children could do. 4 meetings in, that excitement has only grown. But so has my understanding of the complex and nuanced nature of our education system. I am so grateful to all of you who work in it every day, and I hope that all our efforts throughout this process will first and foremost lift up our teachers and administrators who care deeply about North Carolina's children and want only the best outcomes for them. I'm skeptical of anyone who is overzealous in claiming humility. Bragging about one's humility seems the opposite of humble. But please know that I enter today's discussion, like all our meetings, with humility, knowing I do not have all the answers and recognizing the hard work of many before me and the hard work of all of those after us who will turn our recommendations into action. I am proud of how we have reached consensus in our previous meetings. I am so thankful for the Friday Institute's team's ability to synthesize hours of discussion into these 3 themes that I believe truly reflect our thoughts. I am excited about the actions and strategies we are going to recommend today. I will leave you with one thought. As we honed these recommendations, our nation happened to be celebrating its 250th birthday. I am sure all of us were reminded of the timeless language in our founding documents. It got me to thinking, what if someone comes across our recommendations in 100 years or 200 years? Will they be able to understand the language? Will our goals and objectives be clear? That is my charge to you as we get started. Brevity and simplicity are not the signs of a weak document. On the contrary, they are the hallmarks of a strong argument, clearly stated and easy to act upon. I know our words will have impact, and I'm eager to jump in today with you all. So grab your coffee, grab your Diet Mountain Dew, and let's go. I turn it over to Don.
Good morning. I'd certainly like to echo Ann's welcome and thank all of you again for joining today's fourth meeting of the Blue Ribbon Committee on Public Education. I hope that everyone's had a wonderful summer so far. Today's meeting marks an important transition for the Commission. Over the past several months, we've spent our time learning, asking questions, hearing from experts and practitioners. Excuse me. Now we begin the work of forming recommendations. I want to echo Ann's thanks to the Friday Institute. I think they have done a masterful job of synthesizing the presentations, reports, and our group discussions so far. After some initial discussions, we agreed on 3 topics that would be the focus for recommendations for the first commission charge: teacher training and student advancement. Specifically, we are focusing on strengthening early literacy, strengthening the teacher pipeline, and modernizing the current accountability system. As we move in today's discussions, I would encourage everyone to keep the full recommendation process in mind. Each recommendation is intended to articulate a broad direction for educational improvement in North Carolina. From there, we identified the necessary policy to achieve that vision, and then followed by what I think is the most important aspect of our work: recommending strategic actions that will translate policy into practice. Our task today, is not only to examine the alignment between the broad direction, policy development, and strategic actions, but also to refine and add to the actionable strategies provided in the advanced materials. We also need to think carefully about where the Commission can have the greatest impact. We cannot recommend everything. Ann has done a very good job in talking about simple is sort of the key here. Our responsibility is to identify the highest yield strategies, those most likely to improve student outcomes and strengthen public education across North Carolina. In a few minutes, we will join virtual breakout rooms to discuss each of the 3 identified topics with a focus on potential implementation strategies. We should have an uninterrupted 30 to 40-minute period on each topic. And our goal is not to achieve unanimous agreement on every word or every strategy. Rather, it is to identify where there is broad agreement, where recommendations could be strengthened, and where additional discussion is still needed. Following today's discussion, the Friday Institute will refine the draft recommendations based on the areas of agreement, questions, and suggestions that emerge from each breakout group. Those revisions will be shared with the Commission before our August 31st meeting. At that meeting, we will begin discussing the Commission's second charge, administrative operations, as well as continue working toward consensus on a set of high-yield recommendations for teacher training and student advancement. A vote on these recommendations will take place in our September meeting. In the email that you received last week, a one-page handout was included that provided guiding questions for discussion, recommendations, and reaching consensus. I'd like to remind us of several of those guiding questions. One, is a given recommendation within the Commission's charge? It seemed to fit in our somewhat broad but still narrow 3 areas. Is it actionable? Does it address a root cause rather than a symptom? Does it provide a way to enact change, not just create another program? Is any recommendation that is based on a successful strategy in another state adaptable to North Carolina? Has any recommendation adequately considered how students are affected? And is there enough clarity and common ground to kind of move to this recommendation or a recommendation to a vote? I'll remind everyone that our meeting is live streamed today, and there is an easy way for viewers to make comments. We did receive feedback after our last meeting from Distraction Free Schools, a group that advocates for the removal of students' cell phones from classrooms. Last week, excuse me, you also received the minutes from our June 22nd meeting. Before we vote to approve the June 22nd meetings, does anyone have any questions, corrections, or clarifications? And I would like to ask all of you to unmute so we could actually vote here in a second. Of course, you can also vote by raising your hand, but if you would unmute if you have any questions, corrections, or clarifications. Again, since members of the General Assembly serve as ex officio members of this commission, it's not necessary for you to vote. For those who are willing to make a motion or second the approval of the minutes, I would like to ask that you identify yourself since we have several pages of pictures here. So when I call for a motion and second, so I'd ask for that. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Bill Harrison, I so move.
Motion made by Bill Harrison. Is there a second?
Robert Taylor, I'll second.
Second by Robert Taylor. Would all in favor please say aye or hold up your hand?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no or hold up your hand. Motion carries and the minutes of the June 22nd meeting are approved. Now Emma will share some commission updates and get us started.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Anne, for opening our July meeting this morning. We have a busy time ahead of us as we look to primarily these two objectives today for our commission members to think about how do we synthesize these key findings, the evidence, the insights that you have shared with us over the last few meetings, specifically related to student advancement, teacher training, and accountability. And then how do we work towards developing a focused set of recommendations related to these charges and any other refinement or consideration that you might have. And so, as I mentioned, our time this morning will go rather quickly as you take a look at the agenda. We also provided you with a paper copy of this agenda at your June meeting. Most of our time is going to be spent in breakout rooms where there will be an exchange of ideas and development of those recommendations. And so you will have a chance to discuss all three of the topics that Don and Anne have mentioned this morning and that you had a chance to review last week. We'll also have about 30 minutes at the end of the time for some commission member share out. That will be primarily led initially by our Friday Institute facilitators, but then some time for you all to share further input or comments that you would like to have with the larger commission before we wrap up our time together with some closing remarks and final member survey reminder. As we look then to how this time is constructed, we shared with you a document to ask you to think about how our recommendations are shaped. And so we start with these big topics, these big ideas. What at large should North Carolina do? And so this recommendation should be something that's a clear statement of what the commission believes that will improve public education. It establishes a direction, an intent, but at large, this topic may not prescribe those implementation details. And so we want to make sure that we are identifying and establishing a clear direction, intended outcomes, and then understanding, especially as Anne mentioned in her opening remarks, is this broad enough to endure over time? We also know that throughout our meetings, we've been thinking about these recommendations as a chance for us to reinscribe things that are already happening, to reform where improvements might be necessary, or even to reimagine and identify what a different approach might look like. So from this large vision or large topic, we want to move then into some strategic policy action. So what specific policy changes would help us accomplish the recommendation? So within each of these topic areas, we provided for you a bulleted list of examples of what that might look like for each of these topics. This could be policy change, could be investments, could be structural improvements, but these would describe a change, describe what should change, but not necessarily how it would be implemented, which is why we moved to these ideas of these implementation strategies. So how would this be carried out? And what would that look like with specific activities, programs, investments, partnerships, timelines, operational changes? And this is where we really anticipate a lot of your discussion today is going to be centered, where you'll be thinking about those specific implementation strategies that you all as a commission body would want to see happen as a result of this work together. And so what we shared with you last week were 3 recommendation topics: strengthening early literacy as a foundation for success, strengthening the teacher pipeline, and then modernizing the accountability for continuous improvement. We also shared with you areas where the budget bill that was just passed in July might see some overlap related to these strategic policy actions or implementation strategies. And so in your time together as a discussion opportunity for this exchange of ideas and development of the recommendations, we really want to hear from you now about what feedback would help us move towards consensus related to these 3 topic areas. And so for us today, thinking about how do we strengthen these recommendations and not necessarily polish this document quite yet. So it'd be very easy for us to spend a lot of time today wordsmithing, thinking about the specific right word to use or right language that is going to be the most important for all of us as leaders in our fields. But today is really about thinking about the greater clarity and greater consensus for what we are recommending and why. And so some of the examples of what that feedback might sound like could be something like what you see here on the screen. I think this strategy belongs because it strengthens district capacity, which is necessary for policy action to succeed. Or this is a high investment strategy with limited statewide impact. Is there another approach that would achieve a greater return? And so these are just some examples of what that might sound like as you are in your breakout rooms for this time of discussion. We also want to make sure that, as Don mentioned in his opening remarks, that we're reminding you of this document that was shared with you now several times. I believe it was on a green piece of paper in your June meeting, thinking about what are these types of criteria that we might want to consider when it comes to these recommendations, things to guide our conversation with some questions and what to look for in this space. I really want to offer some appreciation and gratitude to our facilitators today. You have met them a number of times now at your tables. You've met Mary Beth and Sarah and Krista and Jackie. They are going to be rotating throughout our discussion this morning. So Mary Beth and Dale Hammer, who is an intern joining us from the North Carolina Collaboratory, will be with you during recommendation topic 1. And so they will rotate and move through each of the breakout rooms. So our commission members will stay where they are once they are in their breakout rooms, and our facilitators will be rotating to facilitate and guide this conversation and discussion this morning. So Sarah and Becky will be joining us. She is a new face for you all, part of our team here at the Friday Institute, on topic 2, to strengthen the teacher pipeline. And then Krista and Jackie will be joining you to talk about recommendation 3, to modernize the accountability for continuous improvement. You will have, like Don said, about 35 minutes in each of these breakout rooms for discussion. You'll notice that the that the document that you will have, where folks will be taking notes and reviewing information, will have a tab on the left-hand side for each of these different breakout group times. So at 9:50, Group A will be meeting to discuss that first topic you're assigned to. Then at 10:30, you'll meet with the next group of facilitators facilitators for Group B to discuss, and then Group C at 11:10 will be meeting. So these tabs represent the discussion and conversation that you'll be having during that time. This document that will be shared with you in just a few minutes when you get to your breakout room should be shared with you now, that you'll be able to add your own comments or be able to view what notes and information will be added during this conversation. And then as we rotate or at the end of the meeting, we'll ask that you'll do your own individual reflection on each of these topics. And this is a space where we want to understand, what do you think are those high yield recommendations, and to provide us with those feedback points that will be important for us as we move into our August and then our September meeting later on. This is a lot of information for you all at once. As your facilitators move into the breakout rooms here in just a minute, they'll be able to offer you some further detail and explanation about what this looks like. But you're going to find it really valuable for you to have up on your screen the recommendation topic information that's been shared with you previously, and you'll be able to use the comment feature or chat feature in your Zoom to help with any logistics needs that you might have. I'm going to ask now that the breakout rooms be open so that you'll be able to move into that space, and you'll be able to get these directions again as you begin that first discussion. So in just a minute, if you haven't already, you should see a chance for you to move into those breakout rooms and join that facilitator. Matt, did you get a pop-up window? Let's see.
I don't see a pop-up. I'm looking for any way I can join a breakout room 3.
Mr. Smith, did you join from the original invite, or are you joining from a different email that's not authenticated by chance?
I joined from the same email that I think came out immediately after Emma's invite that she sent. Got one from the system, and there's a link in there that I joined from. I'm happy to jump out of the meeting and then jump back in if there's a better way for me to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to see if you are.
Got a couple other folks in the chat indicating they're not
Yeah.
in breakout rooms either.
Yeah, I see that. Well, Mo Green, when he joined from a different link. It put him in as a participant, so I converted him over to a panelist. The same with Dr. Burns and Mr. Smith. You should have also been put in as a panelist, which it shows you are now. You were an attendee at first as well. So I do apologize.
No problem.
Let's see how we can do this.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I don't have a breakout room assigned to me either, but I just signed in from my original email.
It's okay. Senator Chaudhry, you will be in room 1. Do any of you see the breakout rooms on your ribbon and your control feature?
I don't think I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't either.
It should be at the bottom, and it is open to everyone. So let me see why.
When you say it's at the bottom, like down by the mute video participants, I mean,
So right when you are looking at the bottom of your toolbar, you should see 3 dots that say more. Right next to that should show breakout rooms, and you should be able to click that and then join a particular room.
I don't have
I don't-
that.
I don't have.
Yeah, I don't either.
No, I don't see that either on my screen, unfortunately.
Emma, while we're working on this, I have a
Mhm.
question maybe for
Yeah.
you. If there is a strategy that's not among the strategies listed,
Mhm.
what and when do we try to add that strategy?
During this discussion, and we'll also have a reflection document or form for you to complete where you can add that as well. So you'll have 2 chances and a follow-up. So
Okay, so in this breakout room, I
yes.
should try to add. Okay, thank you.
So Kenny, I don't have control to, it says I can change them to an attendee.
You are a co-host, so you have all the same permissions as I do to try to do this. I'm not sure why those that came in later are not able to be added to, because Dr. Burns came directly into the webinar. He didn't go into the backstage, which means he used a different link. It's no fault to him, but he didn't go directly into backstage, and neither did Mo Green. So I'm trying to figure out what
Would it
emails
be
or
easier
accounts.
for me just to leave the session and try to slide it again?
It's not even allowing me to. I can make a co-host. All right, Dr. Burns and
Yes.
Mo Green, I'm gonna see if this strategy works with making you a co-host like myself and Emma, and then if you can see if you can get into a breakout room, please. I do apologize.
No
Not a
worries.
problem. What am I looking for on the screen?
So in the Zoom ribbon on the very bottom, you might see more and then breakout room.
Okay, I've got the 3 dots and more,
Great.
but I don't have a breakout room in that group when I click on more.
Yeah, same here.
Same on my end.
Well, I've made you all co-hosts, so you should be able to see all the same things. Are there permissions within your Zoom instance that your organizations allow you not to do that? That is also a thing as well. If you can check that setting, if you were able to join a breakout room.
Where would I find said setting?
Well, as a co-host now, you should be able to see all of the permissions at the bottom: participants, chat, raise hand, share, host tools, and then you should see breakout rooms, which is illuminated, and then the 3 dots that say more. Right next to that on the right, you will see enter backstage, and then the last button should be end the meeting, which you don't want to do.
Yeah, so
Okay.
a number of those things are not yet showing up for me.
Yeah.
So
If there's nothing between more and leave on my
Yeah.
ribbon at the bottom.
Same
Wow.
here.
and I know a couple of folks have asked this already, but is there a way to start over with us leaving and coming back, or using a different? Y'all send us a different link or something like that.
Yes, sir. The link that was sent to you from the sysadmin, that link is the link that should have brought you into the backstage. When you came in, Mr. Green, you went directly into the webinar. So I'm not sure if you clicked on a different link or anything else, but it should have taken you directly into the backstage where all the other panelists were.
So for the sake of time right now, do you all see enter backstage?
Where would we see that?
No.
So on the ribbon at the bottom where it says leave, Right next to it says enter backstage.
No.
That means you clicked on a different link to join the meeting. You should be able to see that because you're a panelist.
No, I just tried two things and one thing worked. So if you just join from your browser, you don't get the breakout options. But if you download the app, it does work.
Okay.
So
So let me,
go back.
Yeah, because I can tell, Dr. Burns, are you using your web browser, sir?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
If
that
I
is why.
get out and download and do that, that'll work.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It's because you haven't authenticated. So that link that
Got
you
it.
clicked, you're supposed to authenticate, which gives you the
Right.
permission, which shows that you're secure. So if
Yep.
you can just join from the Zoom app, it will
Got
work for every one of you.
Got it. Thanks.
We'll try it.
Ms. Ashburn, thank you for that.
Yeah,
That was the
no
next
problem.
thing to fact check. Emma, where would you like me to assign Dr. Ashburn?
I can now join anyone that I want. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
Senator
Done.
Chittery is now also able to join. So where is he going to be put?
He is in group 3.
Group 3, signing Senator Chittery now to group 3.
Let me wait. Hold on a second. Let me confirm that. No, I'm sorry. He's in group 1. My fault.
Oh,
Sorry.
well, I put him in 3, so let me go
Okay.
back and get it for you.
Sorry about that. Great.
Do apologize.
Superintendent Green, you're in group 1 as well. And Ms. Branch, you are in group 2.
All right, so I need to move Senator Chittery right now because he is in 3. Jeez, sorry. You said 1, Emma?
Correct.
Got it. Senator Chittery is now in 1.
Great.
Says he has not joined. Someone's going to have to join room 3 to let him know that
Okay.
he has to go to 1.
It'll be okay if he's there. That's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Just glad he's there.
All right. He's in 1 now at this time.
Okay. Perfect. And then Teresa at group 2 once she comes back in.
And Matt Smith is also able to now be assigned now that he's authenticated. You're muted, Emma.
Room 3 for Matt.
Room 3, got it. Matt Smith is now in room 3. Dr. Ashburn is the only one that's left, which I know she can float. So
Yeah. Great. And did you grab Teresa Branch in group 2? Room 2?
Teresa Branch. She must be joined from a web browser as well because she's not in the authenticated list. She's showing as not authenticated. Meaning they have to join from the actual Zoom app like we found. So
Emma, can you clarify one question? Great job on your EdNC article.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was great.
Do you want to go into the backstage, Elena?
yes, because this will be public. It needs to be backstage.
It's okay. Either is fine.
I can. So just hit enter backstage.
Uh-huh.
Ms. Branch, are you able to hear me at this time, ma'am?
Yes, I can hear you.
Are you joining from your web browser, ma'am, or from the actual Zoom app?
Well, I think from the browser.
Okay. Unfortunately, you'll have to join from the Zoom app so that you're authenticated for security purposes, and then you will be able to join a breakout room once you've joined from the actual app.
Okay. Okay, I'll try it again. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. If you need anything else, myself and Jonathan are here to answer any questions for you.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Emma, where am I?
All right, so I'm going to try and send you to room 2.
Yep, it just showed up.
Perfect.
So Miss Branch is going to try to join from the app,
Great.
Emma, and then we'll be able to assign her once she's actually from Zoom to authenticate.
Great. Thank
All
you.
right, no problem.
Hello?
Hi there, Superintendent. I see you as a participant here. Are you signed in as?
I was not able to join using the app. And I don't know, it was saying it needed to be updated. So I joined using my browser.
We probably need to go through the app, unfortunately.
So it's saying it needs to be updated and it won't, I don't know what to do to update it.
Is there a chance that you have Zoom on your phone as an option here? I hate to ask you that.
Yeah, because I don't know that I do, but let's see. Yes, I do. And I also tried using my personal Zoom, and it still was kicking me back to say I got to use the browser.
Can you send me a private message with your personal account and I will send it to Kenny to get you joined there? Senator Jones, I'm going to send you over to the room 3. Superintendent, if you can respond in the chat to my message, we'll try to add you via your personal account that way. Great. I've sent that over to Kenny, so you hopefully will receive an email there to join that way.
Recording in progress.
Jonathan, can you just confirm Kenny's received my messages? I'm not sure if he's still here. I slacked you.
Can you hear me, Emma?
Yes, I can hear you.
So should I join as a panelist on my phone?
Yes, that's great.
Recording in progress.
And I'm going to send you now over to group 1. There we go. Great. Okay, Teresa, I'm going to ask you to unmute so that we can try and problem solve this for you.
Okay, I did go out and then re-enter through Zoom Workplace.
Okay, great. And are you, it looks like you're signed in because I see your profile picture and your name. I still am not able to assign you, unfortunately.
So I've had multiple Zoom accounts
Okay.
in the past. I'm wondering if that has anything to do with it.
Do you know what account you're using right now, Teresa? Can you?
CaldwellSchools.com.
Okay.
I'm working on Dr. Green's stuff. The Yahoo stuff is a little tricky.
So he's actually in right now, Kenny. I think our last individual is Teresa Branch, and she is signed in with her Caldwell Schools account. She said that she's using the workplace app. But I'm still not able to assign her a room.
And she's joined from the, like, obviously, I know you said this probably, but she joined from the actual Zoom app. And is a Zoom app, has it been updated since she said she's had multiple things? Just like with Dr. Elena, if it's not updated, it won't work right either. And I'm sorry, I know that's a lot.
Okay. No, Teresa, just to confirm how you signed in. Are you on your computer or your phone?
Computer.
Okay. And are you using a web browser or are you using the Zoom app? It's sometimes hard to tell. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me see. I think I just.
It looks like it's from a web browser. I can tell it's a web browser.
Okay. So I'm at the email.
Mm-hmm.
And when I click join webinar,
it should give you two options, one to join from a browser tab or one to join from the Zoom authenticated app. And you'll need to join from the app in order to join a breakout room so that it's for security purposes.
okay, that's what I did last time. And then when I just clicked it again, it just flashes on those two choices quickly and it goes away. Is that because I'm already in?
It could be. Are you on a Mac, ma'am, or a PC?
Yeah, Mac.
Okay. So when you go to, one of the steps you can do is you can go to the actual Zoom app and bring up whatever instance that you're in. I would leave that and leave all the browser ones that you joined as well. And then see, you're on here twice now. So let's see if we can change this one. So I see you in here twice. So let's see. Participants there. All right. So the one that your video is on, Ms. Branch, is that from the app or the browser? You're muted, Ms. Branch. I just sent the request to unmute yourself.
In the upper left-hand corner, it says Zoom Workplace.
Yes, ma'am.
So can you tell from that which one I'm in?
That means you're in the app. Do you know if your Zoom Workplace app had updated by chance? Because it looks like you're using 5.6 instead of the 6.5.2. And how about this? For your other one that you're in, that's no video, can you close that or leave the webinar? It's showing that you're double in there.
Yeah, I did. I'm only showing one on my screen right now.
Okay, I'm going to remove the one that you don't have video. Is that okay?
Okay. Yes.
All right. I will not report to Zoom. Just remove, please. Okay. right, I'm gonna make you a co-host real quick and see if that allows you to get into a breakout room. I do apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just wondering if I've done something I shouldn't have done.
It's all right. I know the technology stuff gets a little wonky there. All right. Do you have when you see in the bottom right corner, Miss Branch, do you see where it says enter backstage?
No, the last thing is leave, and then before that is more with 3 dots.
Okay. And in that, can you see where it shows breakout rooms? Can you even see that option?
No, it says record polls, whiteboard settings, stop incoming video.
Okay. All right. So
And
in
reset. It says also reset to default.
okay. I know that you're in the meeting, which is great, but you clicked on the link that was sent from your other email, correct? Or are you in your official?
Maybe.
Yeah. Because
So
if you haven't been invited on the account that you're using now to be a panelist, it's not going to give you the permissions like a panelist would have because you're using a different email address or an account that you clicked on that original link.
Okay.
So,
the invite to caldwellschools.com?
yes, was your school or your district, was your district one of the programs that was blocking the email originally?
I don't think so.
Okay, in the chat, can you put your email address that you would like me to send it to?
Yes.
And I will. And also, when you're looking at the chat, make sure it says to host and panelists and not in backstage.
Okay.
And I should be able to see it. And I'll send that invite to you right now. I have it queued up and ready for you.
Okay.
All right. I see your email. And that is the actual email, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So X out of this one.
Just give me 1 sec because if you X out too quickly, it may have a little bit of an issue here. So let me get that. Right.
But you know what? That email was to my Caldwell schools. I'm just looking. I think.
All right. I just sent it again for you.
Okay.
You should see it. It should have a title of please join webinar in progress. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You should have gotten it or received it.
Okay. I'm not seeing it yet. My last email was at 10:11. Let me see.
All right. I just got the email, so you should see it.
There.
All right.
I got it. I got it.
All right. All right. So before you click on that join, go ahead and leave the meeting. And
Okay.
then please make sure that when you join the meeting, it is through the actual Zoom app. And we will see if this fixes the problem for you. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome. Anytime. Hey, Becky, we're just trying to work with Miss Branch to get her authenticated through her Caldwell schools so she can join properly.
Okay. Hi, Becky.
Hey.
So I'm still working with Miss Branch to get her authenticated. She was joining from a web browser, which is going to toss a bunch of errors out there, so she cannot join
Okay.
a breakout room. So for every person that was not in a breakout room originally, the problem was that they were joining from the web browser instead of the actual Zoom app, and it was not authenticated. So for security purposes, Zoom it will block them automatically because it thinks they're just joining the meeting randomly. You had a couple of members that joined from different emails too that were not invited. So the email that they used to join the meeting was not the email that the invite was sent to. So that also caused a little bit of a snag, just to FYI. And that is the problem from his branch.
Thank you for clarifying that, Kenny. So in the next sessions, we'll make sure to be more clear about that.
Yeah, I know it's tricky doing all virtual. The other thing too is we just have to, and I didn't think about this either, and I should have, just reminding folks to make sure that their stuff is updated, because if it's not updated, it's also going to give the same issue like it did for Dr. Burns.
Great. Okay. Well, I'm going to move into my second breakout room.
Can you tell me when I can get Miss Burns, I'm sorry, Mrs. Branch fixed, her stuff fixed? What room can I put her in?
Yes. So for her next session, she will be in room 2.
Room 2. All right. All right. I hope to have her stuff fixed when she authenticates and joins from the actual Zoom app, and then I will put her in room 2 for you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jackie, I've got to find a bathroom.
No
And
worries.
so, and I'm in my hotel, so I don't know if I have to go back to my room or not, but I will
I'll
figure that out.
get it rolling when the time comes.
I'm there.
So this time we're
Please
going to go
start.
to room number 2. We're going to start in 1 minute.
Okay. Whew. You ready, Becky? Do you mind sharing the link to your document again?
Sure thing. Absolutely. I sure will. Yep.
Thank you so much. And we're going to room number
1, right? That's the only one we haven't been to.
Let's do it.
How to get back to. Jonathan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I got shut out of the break. This is Representative Ball. I got shut out because my computer locked. Evidently, there was a virus. Someone tried to break into my computer, legislative. So I'm on my personal laptop, and I need to get back into my breakout room.
All right, let me see. Figure out how to get you back in there.
When I clicked on the link it sent me to a different breakout room. I don't think we were to switch breakout rooms, correct? We're going to go through all those recommendations.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be you're supposed to stay in the same room, and then the facilitators, they were going to be changing.
That's correct. I mean, I'm still signed in.
Yeah.
My computer, but I cannot do anything on my computer. It's locked. And Microsoft, I've called IT.
Yeah.
And they're going to, I hope, fix it.
And whenever you signed in this past time, were you able to sign in on the Zoom app?
My LA sent me the link that was in our email, and so I clicked on that, and I got you.
All right.
I have one question. Hello, Representative Ball. My name is Kenny. I'm the IT director here at the Friday Institute.
Hey, Kenny.
If you are using a different email that was not originally put in for you to be a panelist, I've made you a panelist on this one that you're in now. But if you're not on the app and on the web browser, you're not going to be able to get into a breakout room. So you need to be using an authenticated Zoom app, which is for security purposes.
I understand. Can you get a message to whoever's heading my breakout room that I'm having computer problems and I can't get in?
Yes, ma'am. What room were you in again? I apologize.
I don't know what the number. I think maybe 2.
Okay.
It was Dale Burns was on it, and Eric, the superintendent. I'm not superintendent. The head of the Board of Education. They were in it.
Yeah, it looks like that was breakout 2.
Okay. You're saying though I can sign in with that link, it won't take me to the breakout room.
Yes,
right?
ma'am. If you are using a web browser, are you using a web browser right now?
I don't know exactly what that means. I apologize. What do you mean?
All right. So when you clicked on the link, did it open it into a new tab in your Google Chrome or Safari or
Yes.
Microsoft Edge? Okay. So the reason why you're not able to get into a breakout session room is because you have to be on the Zoom app. So on the computer that you're using, it should give you an option. It's your personal computer, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you'll go to zoom.com or you go to zoom.us. And are you using a PC or a Mac?
A PC.
Okay. So you're going to have to.
I'm sorry, a laptop. Lenovo laptop.
All right. So that means you're on a PC. So
Okay.
you'll need to go to the App Store in your Lenovo computer and you have to download the Zoom app.
Oh, I've got Zoom on this computer.
Okay. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to log out of the web browser, which you're in now, and you'll need to join on the app, the actual Zoom app. And when you click on the link, it should give you the option to join via web browser or join via the Zoom app itself. And you'll want to choose the latter. You want to choose to log in with the Zoom app and not a web browser, and then you'll be good to go.
So I just want to leave this and get back in, open it back up.
Yes, you'll leave this meeting.
Okay.
You'll sign into the Zoom app, and then once you've signed into the Zoom app, you should click on that link again, and it should open through the app.
Okay, I'll try that. Thank you. Just
All
let
right,
them
yes.
know that I'm working to get back.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Welcome back all. We'll be on a short break until 11:50 to give all of the rooms a chance to come back together again. So you've just got a couple of minutes if you need to stand, stretch, get a drink of water. See you in a few minutes. Good morning again. We're
And
just on a short break until
had
11.
Ashley last week.
So we will see you back here in just about 3 minutes. If you need to grab some water, get a stretch break, we'll be back together just in a couple of minutes. Short break. For those coming back in from the breakout rooms, we're just on a short break until 11:50 when we'll start back up with the main room again and our live stream. So you have about 2 minutes to grab some water, take a stretch break. We will start back at 11:50 with share out and comments and Q&A from the commission at large. So take a quick break here. We'll come back together in 2 minutes. Thanks all.
Emma, can you hear me? This is Mo.
I can, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right.
Great.
Thank
We're
you.
just taking a quick break here until 11:50. Make sure everybody gets back from their breakout rooms. Stretch break, water break, whatever you might need for another minute or so here. All right, everyone, thank you so much for the time this morning to engage in discussion around the three topic areas, and a special note of appreciation for our facilitators who talked a lot as they had 3 rounds of discussion with you all in those breakout spaces. It was really important for us to also leave some time at the end of our meeting today for some share outs and to hear specifically about what was discussed in those small groups. And so we will work through each of these topic areas, and realizing this is a quick debrief. This is not all of the notes, not all of the details, but a high level capture of what has been shared. And then what will happen over the next coming weeks is that we will again produce more synthesis materials for you all to review and reflect on. I know there's a lot of curiosity and interest about what's going on in the whole group, in the small groups, and those conversations, especially from those who are live streaming and joining us virtually today via YouTube. And so we'll pull up here on our screen in just a minute the recommendation topic 1, where we will start hearing first from Mary Beth, and then give a chance for any of the commission members to raise their hands and come off mute to be able to share any additional comments or questions or areas of interest. Just as another reminder to the commission, you will receive that reflection form as a follow-up to this meeting so that you will be able to add further comments and information via that form as well. So I want to give you various access points to contribute your thoughts and your ideas around these 3 topics as they've been discussed today, and the way they will take shape now as we move into August. So just encourage you to please use that chat feature if you have any questions about logistics or getting around, moving around this Zoom, but would ask you to primarily use the Google Docs or that Google form that will be shared with you again to provide your input on the content or the meat of what we're talking about here for the Blue Ribbon. So I'm going to jump on over then to show you my screen and that first recommendation topic as has been discussed today. And we'll invite Mary Beth to give us a capture as she will, and Dale too to chime in if there's anything that she might have overlooked in the high level capture of what was discussed during those 3 breakout rounds. Mary Beth?
Great. Thank you, Emma. And thank you all for sharing your perspectives and insights. It was incredibly interesting to be across the 3 rooms. So I'll do my best to share some quick reflections. For the policy actions, where some thoughts and suggestions came up as we move forward, thinking about and being clear about who owns these policy actions, who's responsible for those, which agencies or groups are responsible for them, and costs. Understanding the cost investments will be key, and adding those into the eventual recommendations will be important. Also, just broadly, there was recommendation on just how to be comprehensive and integrate all of these recommendations so that we don't risk one being cherry-picked, 1 or 2 strategies, and not just about literacy across all 3 recommendations, to make sure that this is a comprehensive package, because we want all of them to move forward and make a difference. There was also feedback on just making sure that the language is clear on the difference between a policy action and a strategy. There was some overlap in the language, some vagueness, so being concise and simple. Maybe there's just one recommendation and the strategies are implemented, or just how to be very clear so there's not that confusion there. In terms of some of the specific policy actions, we had perhaps maybe because there are 5 of them, that maybe 2 and 4 could be combined, talking about the continuum of educators, aligning EPP programs with implementation capacity and support and professional development, so making that more of a continuum. Also emphasis on kindergarten, which may not be as clear right now in the policy actions. emphasis on bridging science of reading to the developmentally appropriate instruction in kindergarten and purposeful play. And there's pilot programs in place and things that emphasize kindergarten and that being different and needing to be called out and bridged to the science of reading better and having support for districts to be able to do that. There was also mention of that mathematics is not included in our policy actions, that there's not right now a parallel policy for in mathematics around science of teaching and learning mathematics, as the same with curriculum. So that was something to keep in mind. And also universal pre-K came up in our policy action discussion, that broadening access to pre-K is critical in how to make that possible. And the implementation strategies, I'll just share some things that came up. 1 and 2 are came across as being very actionable and very broad consensus around curriculum and providing summer, the literacy camps. Some things to keep in mind as we consider that. Curriculum should we prioritize K to 3? Grades 4 to 8 are equally important, but if we really want to move the needle, should we prioritize those K to 3 grades? And offer incentives to districts so that they are using and purchasing the curriculum that is recommended, and whether there should be 1 statewide or 2 or 3 is still an open question. Also enforcing fidelity, making sure that ATR teachers, where there's ATR or there's administrators and leadership, that there is fidelity to that curriculum and associated supports for teachers. There's also mention of coaches that bridging science of reading to ATR is critical, and there are places where there is statewide coaching in place, but where local districts have to supplement that position. That can be an easily cut position, and that is something to keep in mind for coaches who are also critical to supporting implementation. Just quickly on literacy camp, there were questions on data, both in evidence around what data exists that could be helpful in informing the effectiveness of literacy camps, and also data on how many students would be recommended for that, and also language around requiring camp, making sure that that is clear in the recommendation, and thinking about the additional costs for not just calendar flexibility, but also funding for transportation for students and funding for staff for training. And the final 2, the tutoring did come up, and that is something that states like Tennessee are using as part of their literacy program, but there are questions on how to scale that and what are the costs, what does it look like, and maybe a pilot would be appropriate given there are some pilots in place, and understanding that better before a recommendation. Literacy committee, finally, this was something that was supported. There would be something that would be helpful for the State Board of Education to have kind of a group that could be kind of a pulse check for all of these recommendations. And this would be stakeholders or a group of practitioners and leaders who could support the recommendations and review curriculum and recommend any changes. I think that's it, but please chime in if I've missed any key comments. So thank you all.
Thanks, Mary Beth. It's a big job to synthesize an hour and a half of conversation in 5 minutes for us. So thank you for that. Any comments, questions, additions from the commission at large about our recommendation topic 1 to strengthen early literacy as a foundation for student success?
Is there consensus among all 3 groups that a consistent curriculum is needed, K through 3? Mary?
Yes, sorry, I didn't mute. Yes. Yes, consistency, definitely. That was a strong area of consensus.
Among all 3 groups that you talked to?
Yes.
If I might just chime in, and Mary lifted this up, I think there's an open question about whether we go to A, meaning 1, versus 2 or 3. And what I shared in my subgroup was I hope folks on this commission will fully appreciate sort of where we are currently across the state, that even if we ended up with 2 or 3 across the state, that would be a significant and positive, I believe, change for our state. We also discussed in the subcommittee some of the challenges and hurdles with going to just 1 versus 2 to 3. So I do want us to be sure that we don't think we've landed on just going to A, meaning 1 at this point.
Yes, thank you, Superintendent, for clarifying that. That's still an open question.
Other comments or questions regarding topic 1? Great, then I will scroll down to recommendation topic 2, and that would be Sarah Bossell and Becky Evans-Wilson, who met with each of you to hear about your thoughts, inputs, ideas around recommendation topic 2, strengthen the teacher pipeline. So I'll turn it over to Sarah.
Thank you, Emma. And I believe your screen is not being shared currently, if you want to. All right, so I'm going to speak at sort of a higher level than Mary Beth. She does such a great job of capturing all of the details and putting them back in front of the group. I'll start high level and then open the floor for anyone who would like to add extra details that I may have missed. I will say across all groups, everyone was really committed to putting forth simple, robust recommendations that would strengthen the entire career arc of teachers. They discussed ideas for blending particular implementation strategies, specifically looking at what paid student teaching or clinical placement might look like in tandem with expanded statewide mentoring and coaching programs for beginning teachers. So we did a lot of work across the groups about how we could simplify and bring some of those strategies together with the same emphasis. And we also saw some open questions related to evidence around North Carolina teaching fellows and how that might articulate well with existing ROTC programs to make sure that we have the strongest fellowship opportunities for teacher candidates. The groups seem to agree that rehiring retired teachers is a priority, although the group absolutely acknowledged the challenges associated with achieving that goal, as well as previous attempts to do so. So there was a lot of work done around how can we forward an implementation strategy that acknowledges this previous work and challenges, but still underscores the urgency and importance of bringing back high quality teachers who are in their retirement phase. Several members also emphasized the importance of studying the entire teacher compensation schedule to identify opportunities for improvement. This would be a new implementation strategy or perhaps strategic policy action that's not currently listed that did emerge across all 3 groups. That's my quick reflection. I'd love to open the floor for anyone who might like to identify where I missed something important.
If I might, I think you did a great job listing the items. I want to be maybe a little bit clear from at least my vantage point what I thought I was hearing with regards to the compensation. And that is very simply, we need to pay our teachers more. So this idea of studying the compensation schedule can be part of that, it seems to me, but I think I was hearing a clearer and recommendation around increasing the compensation for our educators. And I had added in my group, certainly beginning teachers as well as veteran teachers, getting both to be the highest in the Southeast, which would align with the strategic plan for DPI and the State Board of Education.
Thank you. Very important clarification.
Mo, there was some pretty good conversation about that, but also studying understanding the system well enough so that compression doesn't take place and that the remuneration to include allowing retired to come back in as part of that compensation system. And that the total system needs to be looked at, not just more. We all agree more, but do it the right way so that you eliminate some of the problem areas that you're currently facing.
Any last comments regarding recommendation topic 2? Lisa, do you want to chime in? I saw you drop something in the chat, but would love for that to be included here in our conversation.
I just said across the board raises and retention bonuses for each year of service would go a long way. I'm one of those that is frozen. So a retention bonus would be great each year, but going back to the steps where, when I signed on to be a teacher back in 1997, I was promised some things, and those promises weren't held up. I was promised that I would get a bonus for every year of service, or not a bonus, but a step in pay for every year of service. I was receiving longevity. There were so many things that made teaching appealing, but now those things are slowly going away. So going back to what was good is always something that I promote. Revisit the past and see what worked and what was good in the heyday of teaching and education, and let's bring those things back.
Any other comments about topic 2? Thanks, Lisa.
I'll just add that we have it as the last bullet, and everybody's comments relate to this, but under the strategic policy action, elevate teaching as a respected and sustainable profession. I mean, what we mean is that it affords a quality of living that mirrors the respect that we hold it with. So it could be that, just as a reminder when we're writing these, that we lead with that how important teaching is, and they deserve our respect and a quality of life associated with taking on that profession that, affords them a good quality of life.
Great. Brenda.
I just wanted to flag our conversation in our group that Teach NC was eliminated. And if we are looking to reduce barriers, Teach NC recruited 3,700 candidates last year to EPPs and the year before, which was a 20% increase in EPP enrollment. So it has been eliminated in the budget as of July 1. So a very simple recommendation would be to bring it back fully funded July 1, 2027.
Brenda. Matt?
Yeah, to the and I 100% agree with Brenda on Teach NC. Talk about return on investment. It doesn't get much better than 3,700 candidates for less than $1 million investment. But to the conversation about compensation, one of the things I'm cognizant of as the child of a teacher, and as somebody who has raised my family on my wife as a teacher and myself, I was a teacher for the first 15 years of my career, is that aside from the presence of raises, and what we've effectively done is we have lowered the quality of living for teachers, because the earning power of what teachers actually make is less than it was a decade ago. And I have wondered if there might be any interest from this group in recommending that we at the very least establish that we index teacher salaries to inflation. So that we don't go backwards. I know that's controversial.
I mean, it's the confusion with the current salary schedule, the sort of expectation that you're promised an increase every year, and you are on average getting an increase every year, even if you're so quote unquote flat on the schedule, is very confusing. So for us, when we recommend really reconsidering the pay structure, it is so that we're recruiting and retaining our best teachers. We're incentivizing teachers to improve their craft, like all of those things. But the current schedule is very misleading for teachers and implies that there is no increase when there are increases. To your point, Matt, there have been other states that have set a sort of a bar and said, here's what, if you're full teacher pay, you get this, and then you do have an increase that's sort of scheduled in. And of course, the legislature, if the budget's not there, can back off. So there are some interesting strategies. I would just say that doing the same thing and expecting a different result is not where I'd like to see us go. So since we don't have a plan laid out in front of us, that's a no-brainer. Let's do this thing. I think it does make sense to look at the licensure task force that's being stood up and look at some of these strategies and figure out a better way to do it than just piling on to the old system that's frankly not working for anyone quite well enough.
I will say, I agree with Brenda. There is forward movement each year, but then we tend to take a step backwards when our insurance goes up. So I personally have taken cuts in pay because I have to have my husband, who's a small business owner, on my insurance. And so, where I might have had a little bit of an increase, it was taken away, and actually I took a cut in pay because the insurance, I had to fill that gap for insurance. So I agree with Matt that factoring in those types of things is going to be important and is going to go a long way with recruitment and retention. If we are acknowledging that these shifts in our pay are not covering our daily expenses just to live.
So I'll say this, and I said I was going to hold my tongue on this, but I think what we recognize is the compression and all the issues with the teacher salary schedule, how Senator Godwin said that longevity was taken away and kind of woven in as this thing. I think there just needs to be an acknowledgement that if we're going to address teacher compensation, that is going to cost us to fix the problem that is built over the last several years. And I think that will recognize where we are as a state. However, this commission wants to make that recommendation, wherever that comes from, inflation index, all of those things. We recognize that we can do all the things that make it look pretty, but we're at the bottom, both in the region and in the nation. And at some point, we just need to address it. And then that gives us the ability to stay ahead of the ball. The longer we take to fix it, the harder the problem becomes to fix.
Thank you for your comments and discussion this morning. We will move on to recommendation topic 3. I'll just stop sharing my screen here for a second so I can make sure that we're able to see this correctly. So I do that, that would be Crystal Lazewski and Jacqueline Stevens.
Yes, so
Awesome.
The groups.
Go ahead, Jackie.
Thanks, Krista. The groups agreed in a lot of different ways. Primarily, like growth and proficiency both matter. but they tell very different stories. So the commission discussed whether combining these measures gives a clear enough picture of school performance. There's an interest in finding better ways to show both, potentially alongside perhaps a smaller number of other measures that provide a fuller picture of student success and the school experience. The commission also discussed and highlighted the need for to better distinguish between accountability, public reporting, and school improvement. They all serve very different purposes. So what is needed to identify schools for support may not be the same as what families and the public need to understand how a school is doing. Also, the commission raised questions about the number of schools identified as low performing and whether available resources can adequately support all of them. So discussion focused on better matching support to need and providing enough time and continuity for schools to make and sustain progress. There was some discussion about the relationship between state and federal accountability. There needs to be more clarity there, discussing where the systems overlap and where they serve different purposes, and whether there are opportunities to simplify requirements to better coordinate support. All agree that not all testing serves the same purpose. The commission discussed the distinctions between assessment used for accountability and check-ins, check-in reporting, testing during the year to inform instruction. So the conversation focused on being really clear about why different assessments are used, what information they provide, and where greater consistency may be needed. There's agreement that there needs to be alignment across the system, connecting standards, curriculum, instructional materials, assessment, and accountability. Greater consistency and sustainability across these areas are going to help schools focus on teaching and learning rather than navigating disconnected expectations. And that was similarly mentioned in topic 1. Also mentioned in topic 1 was, who is responsible for moving this work forward? And so there was raised questions of who would be responsible for different recommendations, recognizing that changes to accountability may involve multiple state or local leaders and organizations. In our last group, there was quite a bit of conversation about discerning the purpose of accountability in our work. So do we first need to clarify what the accountability system is and that what we want to accomplish? Is it meant to show how students and schools are doing, identify where support is needed, inform improvement, provide clear information to families and the public, or some combination of all of those? And there was agreement that the purpose should help determine what is measured and how results are used. So strong indication to look back at the accountability theme overall and to hone in on specificities. Lastly, all groups unanimously agreed that they want to build on work that's already underway. So they're interested in inviting the State Board Accountability Task Force to a future commission meeting to hear what it has learned, understand where their work is headed, and to identify areas of alignment with the commission's discussions thus far. Krista, is there anything you would add? And I would open it up to the rest of the commission for any comments or questions.
Yeah, that's a great summary. And I'll just highlight that it came up in more than one way too, around the need to kind of align across the different priorities, make sure that kind of one recommendation is not offsetting another one. And so I'll just highlight that again because it's come up in others as well. And if other folks would like to weigh in on this issue, happy to open up for comments more broadly now.
I think the simplicity side of it was let's just determine what we want to measure, what the purpose of it is, and then eliminate all the bureaucracy and make it as simple towards obtaining that data as possible.
two items that I'll add as we are wrapping up here with recommendation topic 3. One is that our charge on accountability is one that we'll see again and again through our next two topics. So it will appear when we talk about administrative operations and education leadership. And so while there's been great discussion and conversation today, it will be up to the commission to decide how to continue to engage on this topic through our next two charges in the study of those two topics. So definitely more to come, potentially on all of these, but specifically to the accountability topic. I also want to remind folks that are here in this room with us, but then also who may be listening on YouTube or streaming this and watching it after the fact, that this is draft, this is discussion, this is engagement with you all. This is a process that we are going through to come to some final recommendations that will present a version of this again in August, and then one that may lead to a vote for you all in September. So what you see on the screen here is definitely a working draft. This was our first take as the Friday Institute with the co-chairs and the staff to present to you something for you to discuss that's quite different maybe than how our previous discussions have occurred previously. And so truly appreciate the time and opportunity to hear from you all on this and to get your thoughts and inputs and direction. Like I mentioned before, we'll share with you that follow-up survey for each of these 3 topics that you can have a voice to weigh in specifically to make suggestions or changes. And then again, I want to just thank the 6 facilitators who have been so diligent and will continue to partner with to move this forward into the next stage of this work. I'll turn it back to Anne and Don for any last comments they might have for our closing remarks for our meeting this now afternoon.
Anne, would you like to
Well, I began the day with an appeal for brevity, so I certainly am not going to end the day with a long speech, but thank you all. It has been, at least in the things I participated in, very productive, extremely helpful. It's helped me hone my thoughts and narrow down. So I thank you all for the time you put into this. Look forward to seeing next steps.
Thank you. And I'd certainly like to thank the Friday Institute folks for just a really good work today. In fact, all this technology works seamlessly, and I know you all worked a lot on that. The breakout rooms were smooth, everything back and forth. So my congratulations for that, and very good summaries of a lot of things. I suspect every person on this call now needs to do more reflecting, and I think that's the digesting and reflecting to begin to think about narrowing it down to kind of more manageable and manageable terms for us. So I certainly appreciate everyone participating today. It was very active, and I think we're making progress as we go along, and should feel good about that.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Anne, for your closing remarks this afternoon. Just as a reminder for our schedule for future meetings, if we look at this purple column on teacher training and student advancement, in July, this meeting has been virtual, but as we move back into our in-person schedule, August 31st for our next meeting, you'll have a chance to review the recommendations with this further development. We will prepare and share that documentation and information with you prior to that August 31st meeting. It'll be really important that you all have a chance to review that and come ready to discuss and help us move forward into that September 28th meeting, where there will be a commission vote as planned. But then in August, we will also start to move into the next charge on administrative operations. And so we have already begun planning that agenda for that August 31st meeting, and excited about what that conversation will hold as we dive into that green column, that topic here, administrative operations, from August all the way through December. And then just as a reminder, in November, we'll pick up that topic of educational leadership that will carry us through the rest of our time together for this commission. I appreciate everybody bearing with us, as this is the first time we have done this meeting in this way with this group of folks. And so thank you so much to our operations staff who have been really crucial to making sure this meeting has flowed well and that they've addressed any of our hiccups that have come along the way. So appreciate that. We'll see you again in person August 31st. Looking forward to what that will hold. But for now, so long, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much, everybody. I am going to head to the backstage so we can just have a quick debrief conversation with our staff. If anybody is on the call and would like to join us over there, feel free to drop in. Otherwise, feel free to leave the meeting and we'll talk to you soon.